night off, but it quickly turns deadly.
He received a single gunshot wound to the right side of the neck.
It causes blood to literally pour from him.
As investigators search for the truth, they uncover a shocking secret.
I was so naive to it back then, I was really not aware.
Lieutenant Kenda and his team soon find themselves in a dangerous game of cat and mouse.
We don't know if somebody's taunting us.
A killer on the run is never a good thing. You put somebody in a position of pressure because they will surrender what they know. They won't do it because it's the right thing. They'll do it to protect themselves. Pressure is what works. There's one thing that never changes: murder. A life has been taken. Their stories are now my stories. I never know where a case is going to lead, but I'll never stop until it's solved. Somebody has to look out for the victim. If you kill, I will find you.
It's a sweltering summer night, but patrons at the Baja Lounge aren't in a hurry to head home just yet.
Yo, why you pushing up on my line?
If you really want to talk to her, buy us both a drink.
It's basically closing time at the bar. People want to get their last drink in before they head out the door, and that's what 26-year-old Montez Davis was doing.
Thank you.
Hey, why don't you watch what you're doing?
She picks up the beer and starts to turn. Somebody pushes her.
Hey!
She thinks he's just an obnoxious drunk.
Hey! Hey! Are you alright?
She starts to realize there's now a pool of blood starting to develop around him.
Buddy, are you okay? Yo, I think he's been shot.
Somebody get help!
Not far away, Lieutenant Joe Kenda is struggling to fall asleep.
It doesn't get hot at night here very often, but this particular night it was. I opened the window to get some air in the bedroom. My wife can sleep through World War III, wouldn't know about it till she read it in the papers. I'm a light sleeper, and I hear the sound of faint sirens in the distance. And I thought, well, they're playing my song. And a few minutes later, the phone rang, and I knew who it was.
The Baja Lounge again?
There has been a shooting at the Baja Lounge on East Fountain Boulevard. No one was surprised by that. This particular location was rampant with shootings and confrontations and fights.
By the way, bye.
20 minutes later, Kenda pulls up to a chaotic scene.
There is people screaming obscenities at the police, everybody drunk. The police are trying to bring some order to disorder. And your immediate thought is, it's going to be a long night.
Hey, Lieutenant. Hey, Brian. So what we got? Typical night at the Baja Lounge. Yeah. Transported to the hospital and pronounced DOA. Do we know who he is?
Our victim was identified as a 31-year-old black male by the name of Douglas Warren. He received a single gunshot wound to the right side of the neck.
Any idea what happened here? Not exactly. We can probably rule out a robbery motive. Still had his wallet, his valuables. We're still trying to interview witnesses. If you want to go inside, take a look around, I'll see if we have anything new. I'll come find you. Good luck with that. Thanks.
While Ritz tries to rein in the bedlam in the parking lot, Kenda ventures inside the Baja Lounge.
There's a large amount of blood, so he is bleeding freely, which generally means he has some arterial damage. That bullet has struck something like the subclavian artery, probably, under the collarbone, that causes blood to literally pour from him.
We haven't found anything to indicate any kind of struggle on the inside.
The blood is smeared from where the ambulance crew moved him to put him on a gurney, so the scene where the body is found isn't going to tell us much. But we see the blood trail coming toward it, because we understand the directional nature of blood drops.
So Kenda decides to follow the blood evidence to see where it originates.
We follow that blood trail from the doorway back out into the parking lot to where it begins.
Lieutenant, looks like the blood trail starts around here. Yeah, this must be where a victim was hit. Yes, sir.
He took that gunshot wound outside the building and died inside the building.
Is this the only one we found?
We're looking around this blood trail origin point, and there's one expended .25 caliber casing.
Yes, sir. Been up and down the parking lot several times, only found the one. Looks like our shooter got lucky.
What's unusual is this victim appeared to be only shot once. It's usually either a spray and pray where they just keep pulling the trigger until they hit something, or they're really wanting to get somebody and they shoot them multiple times.
Shot that is fatal is extremely rare. But here we are. Douglas Warren has found the magic bullet and has found it in his neck.
Yeah, let's make sure we get that to the lab ASAP. Yes, sir.
Expended casings are unique to the firearm from which they came, so it's very significant evidence.
Well, that was fun.
Did you find anything?
Yeah, more than one of them talked about seeing a white four-door sedan flee the scene, being the first to go.
That's significant. Shots fired, and they immediately split. We have a little something, but a little is better than nothing.
Gentlemen, gather around. All right, listen up. We're going to need to canvass all the apartments and businesses in the 4-block area. We're looking for a white four-door sedan that was seen leaving the area. All right, we'll take care of it.
Based on my own experience, the likelihood of this white car being involved in this is extremely high. You run away immediately because you are guilty of something.
While patrol keeps an eye out for the vehicle in question, Kenda and Ritz head to the hospital's morgue.
We want to go to the autopsy to see what Douglas Warren's body can tell us about how he died.
Hey, Doc.
Hey, Lieutenant.
How you doing?
Detective.
So, what do we got?
So we got an entry wound to his neck with it at a downward angle. The bullet severed his subclavian artery, and it didn't stop there.
The coroner explains it also goes through both lungs. It doesn't just punch a hole in his neck, it punches a hole in everything in his torso.
There's your bullet.
It is a deformed hollow point .25 caliber slug. So now we have an expanded casing and we also have a bullet. There's enough of the base remaining intact for ballistic identification, if we can find a gun.
Hey, we found something else that you should see.
Another wound?
No.
The coroner explains that when they undressed the body and removed valuables from the pockets of the blue jeans worn by Mr. Warren, they find a plastic bag containing what is believed to be crack cocaine and a small crack pipe.
Here we go.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thanks.
Be careful, man.
He's carrying drugs. Why is he shot? Undoubtedly because he's a doper. This case just got enormously more complicated. We're investigating the shooting death of 31-year-old Douglas Warren. We have a suspicious car seen leaving the area, and an expended casing from what is likely to be the murder weapon. But what really gets my attention, the coroner has found drugs in his pocket.
Now, we need to find everything we can about our victim. Does he owe people? Is he a player? The next best step is to contact his family.
Down the hallway, the detectives find Douglas Warren's wife, Penny.
What's going on? Nobody will tell me what happened.
Penny Warren is wearing a security officer's uniform, and she explains that she received the call that her husband had been wounded, and she left work immediately.
And so I raced home, and I was all scared because I asked my sister Betty, I was like, what happened? And she tried to tell me, but her husband told me instead that he was shot and killed, and I kind of just fell down the wall at that point.
We're very sorry.
This, of course, is horrible news. We give her time as best we can. We ask her to tell us about Douglas.
What am I going to tell our kids?
You have children?
Yeah, I'm 5.
They were her kids from another relationship, but he treated them as his own. Now we have 5 fatherless children involved.
He loves those kids more than anything. They love their daddy.
They were always playing and joking around and, come on, Dad, let's go do this.
Unfortunately, there's been some issues between him and me. You know, our marriage right now, it's less than perfect. But we're working it out, we're working things out.
She goes on to explain that he had recently moved out and is not living with her or the children at the present time.
Even after we moved out, we still talk and we're still on good terms. We couldn't live together anymore,
You always, of course, immediately wonder, are drugs the reason? But we didn't bring it up. We wanted to see if she would, and she did not.
When's the last time you saw Douglas?
It was earlier tonight. He came by with his cousin Tony. Him and Tony, they worked together.
He did lawn care. He worked hard. He is a good provider. He was very good at that.
There you go. Take my cut.
Thanks, bud.
Every time he got paid, I would get his check, except for $20. And everything else went to me to pay the bills.
You doing okay?
Me? Yeah, I'm good. Don't worry about him. I'm gonna take him out tonight. Keep an eye on him.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Be careful.
Oh, well. Tell the kids I'll see them in a few days and I love them.
Will do.
Let's go. I'm hungry.
Yeah, but I don't think Tony would ever have anything to do with Douglas's death.
Well, maybe not, but we need to explore all possibilities.
Can I get that number from you?
Yeah, it's 524.
So now we have a place to go. We have Tony, the co-worker and cousin.
How you doing? I'm Lieutenant Kenda. Detective Ritz. How you doing?
They didn't have to shoot him like that.
Well, Tony, who are they?
So you were with him last night at the Baja Lounge?
Yeah, we went to blow off a little steam,
Tony explains that they decided they were just going to get together after work and have a few drinks.
Can you tell us a little bit about his state of mind last night?
What do you mean?
I mean, was he in a clear state of mind?
You mean, was he on drugs? No, man, listen. Douglas was a user, but he'd been trying to quit and turn his life around,
That's why I left him, because I found out he was smoking crack, and I couldn't have that. I was so naive to it back then. I was really not aware.
But he was telling me he was over it and trying to clean up his act for his family. Even last night, he was behaving himself. Hey, man, lighten up.
I'm trying. I just feel terrible about the way things went down with Penny,
Yo, I can help you out.
Tony indicated that when they first arrived at the Baja Lounge and were walking through the parking lot, several people came up and offered to sell him drugs.
Nah, I don't think so. Yo, come on. I'm sure it was tempting, but he resisted. I was pretty proud of him.
So what led to a shooting then?
I don't know. I wasn't even there when it went down. I left around 10 to go see my girl. And when I came back, the cops were already there.
And your girlfriend will verify this?
Yeah, man. I'll give you her number.
Just write it down for us.
There were 3 other people there that saw me too.
Listening to Tony, he wasn't even aware that his cousin Douglas had any drugs on him. And he wasn't even at Baja Lounge to see what transpired in the parking lot.
I hope you get that guy. My man didn't deserve this.
Thanks for your help.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, he doesn't know much about the actual facts of the event itself. But he's not a suspect in this matter.
Dispatch to Kinda.
Go for Canada.
Lieutenant, patrol units have identified a car fitting your description in the vicinity of the Baja Lounge.
This is the same type of car that left the parking lot before anybody else did. The same type of car that I thought could be the key to this case.
10-4 on the way. Go ahead and dispatch a couple extra units to meet us there.
10-4.
In this kind of a neighborhood, when you respond to what you think may be a suspect vehicle, we'll have enough troops on hand in case we need them.
In a situation like this, you want to approach it as quietly as you can, find out who this person is, what's he doing here. But in this particular case, as the officers were approaching the car, the gentleman got out and started to walk away.
Stop right there.
Hey, let me talk to you.
What's going on? What'd I do?
I didn't say you did anything, but your car matches the description of the car that was used in the shooting last night.
Oh, I don't know anything about any shooting.
Okay.
Through the driver's side window, a patrol officer sees something that gives them probable cause to search the vehicle.
Got a gun.
Damn, come
Come
on
this
now.
way right here. Put your hands on the car.
Thank you.
Put on the hood. Spread. You got anything on you?
Nope.
We said put your hands on the front fender of that car, feet back and spread them. And he does it.
It's interesting because this gun was wrapped in a t-shirt. Like it's going to either be a quick disposal or he's wiping it clean. We don't know. So it's something we definitely are interested in.
Go ahead and detain him. I need to speak to him.
Put your hands behind your back.
Oh, man.
So we got a guy in a car just like the one seen leaving immediately after a shot is fired, and he has a gun. The question then is, has he used it? And did he use it to put a hole in Douglas Warren? We're investigating the shooting death of Douglas Warren. We have found a small white four-door car. We've removed the driver from the vehicle, and inside the car is a gun. Could this be our shooter? Of course it could.
Sir, I need you to step out. I need to ask you a few questions.
Yeah, well, I'd like to know what's going on.
Can you tell us your name?
Darren Richards. Can you run those plates for us?
Yes, sir.
We called him to dispatch. We're going to run this guy for warrants, see if he's wanted anywhere.
Darren, where were you last night?
Last night, I was at my friend's house playing cards.
And he provides that. So he has an explanation as to his whereabouts so we can check out.
Hey, that record's clean. No arrests or anything.
Yeah, I can tell you that.
It's also not the murder weapon. That's a 9mm.
That's the wrong caliber, wrong size, wrong everything. We're looking for a 25 automatic, not a 9mm automatic. So he's the right car, and he's in the right area, and he's got a gun in the car, but he's got the wrong gun.
You got that gun registered?
Yeah, papers in the car.
You want to look into that? If it all checks out, you can go ahead and cut him loose.
Will do.
So I'm very sorry for the inconvenience.
Yeah.
With his latest lead up in smoke, Kenda turns to another division for help.
Metro Vice Narcotics is particularly useful in any case involving drugs. No matter how small or how great, they have a wealth of information about the drug world.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing well.
So we're working on this case we really could use your help on.
Okay, what do you need?
They have people that they make arrests on that are willing to give information. A lot of people, when they get in trouble, are willing to deal out whatever they possibly can to save their own hide. So it's important that we see if they have anything that might help us.
So our best guess is that it all stems from a drug-related conflict in the Baja Lounge parking lot.
You know, just yesterday, we picked up a guy for a drug distribution. I was told he won't shut up about a shooting at a club. Want to talk to him?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll take care of that for you.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
As Kenda and Ritz enter the interrogation room, they size up the informant, Corey Brown.
So we go into these interviews kind of open-minded. We're hoping for the best, and sometimes we get nothing.
So what have you got for us?
So that dude, he got popped for ripping off a dealer.
Corey says Douglas Warren was involved in a drug rip in the Baja Lounge parking lot.
Was he with anybody when it happened?
Nah, he was just by himself.
Warren's cousin Tony told us they turned down drugs in the parking lot when they first arrived. So if this is true, it must have happened after Tony left the club to go see his girlfriend.
Tell us what happened.
Oh, I heard that he tried to snag a bag of dope right out of a dealer's hands.
Douglas Warren had drugs in his pocket. Did he steal the drugs and die for it as a result?
So do you know who shot him?
Nah, I don't know that. But I know where the drugs came from.
All right. Who?
China Doll.
I know China Doll. China Doll is only 18 years old, going on 35. She's a beautiful girl. But innocent she is not.
I heard that she was down there with some of her people trying to make some cash.
China Doll is a player in the street drug world. Enough to survive.
Do you know where we can find her?
All I got's her page number.
Tell you what, Corey. Maybe we can work out some sort of a deal here.
Okay, whatever you want.
You help us land China down, and I'll talk to some of our guys in Vice and see what they can do about this current drug charge.
When we say page her, when she calls you, you need to buy some dope from her. Set up a buy. We'll be there out of sight, and when she shows, we'll snatch her. That work for you?
Yeah, I can do that.
This is exactly what Corey's looking for, a break. We're going to give him one. In return, he's going to give us China Doll.
Corey contacts China Doll and sets up the transaction for the following evening. In the meantime, Kenda and Ritz prep him for the buy.
I'm not feeling so good about this.
She has agreed to sell to him. He says he wants $40 worth of rock, which is 2 rocks.
Don't you worry. We're going to be able to hear everything.
In a buy situation, you put a wire on the informant. He makes contact, and as soon as the money's presented and the drugs come out, then we apprehend.
Ain't she gonna know I set her up, though?
Nope. Because we're going to bust you, too.
Wait, what?
Hold still.
We handcuff both. We put them both in custody. We separate them. The difference being we keep one and we throw the other fish back in the pond.
A couple hours later, Kenda and his team wait in the shadows for their target to appear.
Everyone stay on your toes. We're going to have to move in very quick.
China Doll has been known to carry a gun in the past, so you prepare for that. Everybody's wearing a vest. You are never certain when gunfire might begin.
There's also the chance that China Doll simply won't show.
Lo and behold, much to our pleasure, not only does China Doll show up, but she shows up in a small white four-door car.
All right, everyone, wait for my orders.
Hey, China.
Hey, I got you 2 rocks. You got my money?
Yeah, hope it's good.
He shows her the money, she reaches for the money, she starts to hand him the 2 rocks, and fa-boom.
All right, go.
Damn it, it's a cop.
Not again! Damn it!
Here we go, like gangbusters. Everybody's getting cuffed.
I didn't do anything, man, I swear.
All right, good job. Go ahead and cuff him.
School me, you pig! Fight me!
She's screaming, calling us every name she can think of, including some I haven't heard in a long time.
Damn it, you're hurting my arm! Let me go!
And until we had a nice little conversation down at the station. All right, go ahead and transport him.
You ignore that. We handcuff everybody, we seize the car, we seize her, we seize him.
At police headquarters, China Doll's bad attitude shows no signs of improving.
I got nothing to say to you.
Look, we've already got you for distribution. You're all done here.
I told you it wasn't drugs, it's baby powder I use on my little niece.
Is that the best you can do?
I said, China Doll, what's going to happen here is we're going to get tired of you. We're just going to flush you down a toilet and put you in prison. And your opportunity to help yourself, that window is starting to close. Now, you want to crawl through it?
Listen, I can't tell you nothing. That boy who shot that man, he'll cut me too if I snitch.
I think you know that's not true.
It's a misnomer to believe that snitches are murdered. They're not. I've had one get murdered in my entire career. One.
Besides, if you think your life's in danger, we're the only ones that can help you. But you gotta come clean.
I'm all right.
So he said, we know you've sold drugs to Douglas Warren. We know that. And if you want to take the fall for his murder, it's okay with me. But let me tell you, honey, somebody's going to jail for this, and it might as well be you. And that's enough to push her over the edge.
It was the guy's own fault. He should never stole our dope.
Well, that fits. She was there, and she knows.
Why don't you tell us exactly what happened?
I took one of my girls out to the Baja Lounge to sell, and I was watching from across the parking lot.
China Doll is not a dumb individual. She doesn't want to be with her drugs should the cops show up, so she's more than happy to loan it out to her girlfriends to sell for her.
Hey, baby. You need anything?
What you got?
Whatever you want. Hey, 2 bucks. This guy comes up, leans through the car window, talking to my girl, and they start fighting.
Wait, what is this? You trying to rip me off? China! Hey! What the are you doing? Stop! You're trying to rip me off!
So she gets over close to the car just as Douglas Warren pulls his head out of the car and has a plastic baggie in his hand and starts running.
I'm yelling and stuff, and then out of nowhere, bang! Guy comes out with a gun.
Who's the guy?
T-Bone. I don't know his real name.
But he works for you.
No, he's not one of mine. He just hangs around places like Baja Lounge.
She emphasizes that he's not part of her crew. He's only 16, he hasn't been in the game that long, but what he is violent, and he always has a gun.
Well, if he wasn't with you, why would he shoot the guy stealing your drugs? I mean, why would he care?
I don't know. Why don't you ask him?
You know how we can get in touch with him?
Really? You don't know? You cops are fools.
China Doll calling us fools doesn't bother me. She's already called us a lot worse. What bothers me is she apparently knows something I don't. Little did I know it would be something that would change the entire text. In the murder of Douglas Warren, the drug dealer China Doll has revealed that the shooter is someone named T-Bone. We're asking her where to find him when she drops a major piece of information on us.
Well, if you know where this T-Bone is, we'd love to be in on the secret.
It's some secret, all right. Man, you guys are so stupid. He's locked up right now.
She said he got arrested for another shooting he did, and I've heard the cops took the gun away from him, and he's in jail, in juvie. So we were a little floored by that. I don't blame her for looking at us like we were stupid. Apparently we are.
Come on, let's go.
So we have our guy somewhere in the system. So it won't be difficult to run down who T-Bone is and where he is, and more importantly, where is the gun they took from him.
What about me?
I'll just sit tight. We'll make sure narcotics takes good care of you.
We'll leave China Doll in the hands of the Metro Vice narcotics people because now she becomes their problem on the drug charge. We move off to find T-Bone in the juvenile detention facility in El Paso County.
Excuse me.
Hi, can I help you?
How you doing?
Hey, we're looking for a kid who probably came in here about 2 days ago. Goes by the name of T-Bone.
Oh yeah, T-Bone. That's Timothy Mayon.
Can you take us to him?
Yeah, I wish I could. He bonded out yesterday.
All right, thanks a lot. Thank you.
So T-Bone is back in the wind, but at least we know who T-Bone is. He is Timothy Mayon. We need to determine the details of his arrest, and I want to talk to the arresting officer and find out what the circumstances were of that case.
Officers received a disturbance call. Shot.
Find Timothy Mayon sitting in a parked car in proximity to the party. He's pointed out to them as the guy shooting a gun, and they search the car, and they recover a pistol from the car.
Took him into custody, 16 years old. That's his booking photo.
Timothy Mayon looks like a little kid. He doesn't look like he's even 16. But put a gun in his hand and he's Godzilla.
You mentioned they recovered a weapon.
Yeah, they're holding it in evidence.
What's the caliber?
It's 25 caliber.
I want you to get to the lab, see if we get a match. Yes, sir. Thanks.
So now it's a simple matter of asking ballistics people to examine this weapon with the expended casing recovered at the scene of the Baja Lounge and the slug removed from Douglas Warren's body.
Later that day, Kenda gets his answer.
Hey, Lieutenant. Slug from Douglas Warren. It matches that gun you had sent over.
You sure?
They're positive.
All right, thank you.
So we now have the one piece of evidence that ties this guy directly to our investigation. Our next job is to get him.
We have an address on Mayon from his prior arrests. But we're not going over there alone. We already know he's trigger happy, so we bring backup just in case this gets ugly.
Can I help you?
We're with the Colorado Springs Police Department. We have an arrest warrant for Timothy Mayon. We tend to search these premises. Could you please step aside?
Well, I'm his mother. He ain't here.
Her attitude is less than cooperative. She says, well, he's staying with a friend in Denver, but I don't know the friend's name.
Listen, honey, I'm in the middle of packing and moving the family to Arkansas. So I really don't have time for this nonsense.
Ma'am, we are going to search these premises.
And we said, wait a minute. If I determine you're harboring a fugitive by whatever means, by lying to us, by saying he's somewhere he isn't, I'm going to place you under arrest and you're not moving anywhere, except for the county jail.
So I'm going to ask you one more time. Please step aside.
Suit yourself.
Hour, the officers methodically sweep the house, looking for Timothy Mayon and any additional evidence tying him to the murder.
Quit touching all my stuff.
She says she's moving this family to Arkansas, but there doesn't seem to be one thing in a box anywhere in this house. So if they're moving, they're apparently moving with what's on their backs.
Oh, man, the house is clear. Your son's not here.
Yeah, I told you that.
But if he does show up here, I strongly encourage you to call the police.
Yeah, whatever.
We tell Mom we'll be back. And it may be likely you wind up in jail as a result. You have a nice afternoon.
You know, she was just delightful.
Is everything okay?
I'm Lieutenant Kendall with the police. You live here?
Yeah, but not for long.
Oh, yeah? Where are you going?
It's Arkansas. My grandma lives there.
The kid's pretty friendly, and they find out that this is the suspect's brother.
Is the whole family moving there? Even your brother Tim?
Yeah, Tim is actually on his way down there.
Did you kind of feel bad for the little brother in a way? He doesn't know what's going on with his family, or that his brother's probably involved in a murder.
Do you know what kind of car Tim drove out there?
He didn't drive. He took the bus.
So now we know where T-Bone is headed.
Thank you. Have a good trip. Let's go.
A killer on the run is never a good thing, and it has the potential to get a hell of a lot worse. We've learned the person who shot Douglas Warren may be on a bus headed out of state. So we're headed to the bus station to try to find him.
Here you go. Thank you. You're welcome.
How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
Good. We're looking for a teen by the name of Timothy Mayon. We believe he may be on a bus on his way to Arkansas.
Let me check. Yes, Timothy Mayon. Looks like he had a prepaid ticket, but he never picked it up.
All right, so at least we know he hasn't left yet.
Right.
Well, no, not necessarily. He could have walked up and purchased another ticket, and we don't require a name for that.
Back then, if you just walked up to the gate and bought the ticket. It was like going into a movie theater, basically. You had a ticket, you got on the bus. They didn't know what your name was or who you were.
So there's no way for us to know whether or not he's on that Arkansas bus?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid not.
All right, let's get Mayon's photo distributed. Let's place a couple of our guys here in case we get lucky and he shows up. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
It's really kind of hit or miss when we're doing the surveillance. He could have gotten a ride with somebody else. He could have hitchhiked. We don't really know.
With investigators staking out the bus depot, Kenda and Ritz return to Timothy Mayon's home to see if his mother has had a change of heart.
We go back to this house a couple of hours later, and we knock on the door, and the door opens from the knock. It's not even closed.
Hello? Well, that was quick.
All the property inside is gone, so Mrs. Mayon has decided to flee the jurisdiction rather than be confronted a second time or maybe even arrested.
Looks like they didn't take everything.
We find several live .25 caliber shells. How interesting. Timothy left a calling card.
It's kind of weird. They weren't there beforehand, or at least we didn't see them originally. We don't know if somebody's taunting us or playing games. There they are.
25s.
Sure.
All right, let's go.
Kenda is now convinced his prime suspect has fled the state.
It's 1,000 miles from Colorado Springs to Little Rock, Arkansas. He thinks that's far enough. He's never heard the expression the long arm of the law, apparently.
Okay, so we've got some addresses on the Mayon kit, but the most likely one looks like it's going to be this one in Pulaski County.
We determined that the family in question lives in the jurisdiction of the Pulaski County Sheriff's Department in Arkansas. So we call their fugitive division.
Hi, this is Lieutenant Kenneth from the Colorado Springs Police Department. Yeah, we're working a homicide and we think our suspect might be out your way. Yeah, his name's Timothy Mayon, and we believe he's staying with relatives very close to you.
We provide them with the information we have on the grandmother, the aunt, the addresses we've determined, and a photograph of Timothy Mayon.
All right, I appreciate the help. Thanks, bye.
So the hunt is on in Arkansas by the locals for Timothy Mayon.
Authorities in Arkansas actually set up a surveillance on the house that we thought Tim might be staying at.
Hey, you got anything?
Nobody in or out for the last hour.
Okay, I think this is him. I think
This is our guy. I'll follow your lead.
Sure enough, they see a person matching the description of Tim walking down the street listening to a Walkman.
Yep, that's him. Let's get him.
Roger.
He's not anticipating that police are going to be watching for him. He's thinking, well, they're never going to know where I am, and so he doesn't try to hide his tracks or anything.
That's enough. That's going to be him.
Tim Mayon. Put your hands up. Hands up. He never even saw him coming. He was paying attention to the music in his Walkman, and they were able to come up right behind him. Turn around, face me. Put your hands up.
You're under arrest for the murder of Douglas Warren.
They said nothing to them, didn't even acknowledge the fact that he was Timothy Mayon. They put him in a police car and took him back to the Sheriff's Department to hold him in custody for extradition. Back to the state of Colorado to face charges. When he's returned from Arkansas to Colorado Springs, he invokes his right to remain silent, and we inform him that's fine, that is his right. We don't need a statement from him. We have enough information to piece together what happened.
Hey, baby. You need anything?
What you got?
Whatever you want.
Douglas Warren is a victim of his addiction to crack cocaine and knew he could get drugs in the parking lot of the Baja Lounge. So when his cousin Tony leaves to go see his girlfriend, Douglas Warren leaves the club. in the hopes of making a score.
I'll give you 2 rocks for $40.
Even though it was payday, he's in the Baja Lounge with limited resources. He says he has 2 20s, but what he has is 2 $1 bills.
Wait, what is this? You trying to rip me off?
Douglas grabs the bag,
Hey, what the are you doing?
and at the same time, China Doll is in this parking lot, and when he turns to run and she sees that bag in his hand, she yells,
Someone stop him!
Timothy Mayon is a 16-year-old kid new to the scene. Mayon sees an opportunity to enhance his reputation by taking a shot at this perpetrator, who he doesn't even know. When Mayon shoots this victim, he could have fired 200 bullets at him in the dark and never touched him. It's very unusual. He could not have repeated that if he was Annie Oakley.
I often think about him. He wanted to work. He wanted to have a family. You know, we're supposed to be having the time of our lives, and it just didn't happen.
At the end of this case, Tim ended up pleading guilty to second-degree murder as a juvenile, 16 years old. And was sentenced to 5 years, the maximum amount of time he could have gotten.
No one could have predicted this would happen, but you could easily predict that Douglas Warren's interest in narcotics would end badly. And this one ended as badly as you could make it happen.